Welcome to Deep Dive. Have you ever done that thing where you go back somewhere, like somewhere really special from your past, maybe your childhood home,
Oh, yeah.
and you get there and it feels, I don't know, off, different.
Smaller, maybe.
Yeah,
Less magical.
exactly, that little twinge of disappointment. Well, today we're digging into why that happens. It's called cognitive romanticizing.
Mm-hmm. Basically how our minds cook up these like super idealized versions of places.
Right. So our mission here is to figure out, the why behind it and maybe how you can deal with that gap between the memory in your head
Yeah.
and the reality standing in front of you.
Well, the first thing to grasp, and it's fascinating, is that your memory is not like a high-def video camera just recording everything perfectly.
Okay.
Our sources show it's much more, well, active, reconstructive. It holds on to bits and pieces, fragments, sure, but then it puts them back together and often, tweaks them quite a bit along the way. It's constantly being sort of rebuilt.
So it's not just playing back a recording, it's creative.
In a way, yeah. And there are some specific cognitive biases involved that our sources highlight, really powerful ones.
Okay, let's break those down. I saw mention of rosy retrospection.
That's a big one. It's the tendency to look back on past events and places too, much more positively than perhaps they actually were at the time.
Like remembering every summer day being sunny.
Exactly like that. And tied into that is something called fading effect bias.
Right, I saw that too. That's where the bad feelings fade faster.
Precisely. The negative emotions linked to a memory, the frustration, the boredom, the minor disappointments, they tend to lose their punch quicker than the positive ones.
So over time, the memory gets sort of filtered, leaving mostly the good stuff.
Yes. And it's important to see these aren't like errors in the system. They're probably adaptive. They help us maintain a sense of well-being, pruning the negativity.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like protective.
It can be. And then you've got schemata playing a role too.
Schemata, like mental frameworks.
Yeah, templates. Like your brain has a schema for childhood home, and it might include things like safe, happy, warm. When memory rebuilds, it can pull from that template to fill in gaps.
Ah, so it might fill in details that fit the happy home idea, even if they weren't quite accurate.
Or even emphasize them, further idealizing the memory.
Okay, this is where it starts to feel really personal, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because this memory, this idealized place, it gets tangled up with who we are.
Absolutely. Our sources talk about place identity, that connection between a place and your sense of self.
Especially a childhood home, right? That feels foundational, like an anchor for your personal story.
A huge anchor. It provides a sense of continuity. So when you revisit and the reality clashes hard with that idealized memory, well, it's jarring.
It's more than just, oh, they painted the door. It feels like it shakes something deeper.
It can. And this ties into another concept, expectancy violations theory.
Okay.
You have this strong, often subconscious expectation of what the place should be like based on that romanticized memory. When reality violates that expectation, uh-oh, mental discomfort.
Big time. That's cognitive dissonance. Your brain doesn't like that conflict between belief or memory and reality.
So it tries to fix it.
It tries to reduce the dissonance. Maybe you start convincing yourself the changes aren't so bad, or you focus only on things that do match the memory, or even just feel kind of alienated.
I read this really striking metaphor one source used. To revisit one's roots calls from an upside-down posture, which too often proves that the plant is broken.
Wow, yeah. That captures it, doesn't it? That feeling that something core is unsettled.
Yeah.
Which really begs the question.
Yeah, exactly. How do we deal with this? How do we navigate that gap between the shiny memory and the sometimes disappointing reality without falling into what some call the nostalgia trap, where the past always seems better?
It's a great question. The first step really is just acknowledging it. Recognizing, as one source puts it, that your memories are idealized versions of a past that never existed.
So accept that the memory isn't literal truth. Right. Allow yourself to feel that disappointment when it hits. That's okay. But then the key is to shift perspective.
How so?
Remember that the past was simply different, not necessarily better. Try to engage mindfully with the present reality of the place. See what's actually there now.
Instead of just comparing it to the ghost of the past.
Exactly. And consciously try to remember it all, the good and the bad from the past. Resist the urge to only focus on the rosy parts. Understanding this whole cognitive process helps.
So awareness is key. Knowing your brain is doing this filtering and idealizing thing.
It gives you perspective. It helps you build a more authentic and resilient relationship with your own history, not based on a flawless illusion, but on something realer.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's a reminder that our inner world, our memories, are always interacting with the world outside.
Constantly.
So maybe the next time you revisit a place from way back, this understanding can help. You can see the changes, sure, but also maybe appreciate the incredible adaptive way your own mind works, how it shapes your story.